Thank you, ladies. Hi, I'm pretty excited because we're going live for the first time into Soul Tribe, so that's pretty cool. I actually worked it out this time. Last time it didn't work. It ended tragically. I can hear me talking though, Tammy, so it's a bit weird.
I can see you.
Maybe if you mute me. Thank you. So tonight I'm really excited because I really want, I asked Monni if she would share her strengths, I guess we could say, her skills. Monni has been helping myself and Maxine with some what we call NVC, which is nonviolent communication. And this was mainly really to support me with my relationship with my daughter and how to communicate with her more compassionately. But what I found is that it's really helped me to look at myself and where my triggers are coming from, how to identify those triggers and to be more compassionate with myself. And so I thought, what a great thing for you guys to know about, because this is incredible. If you know how to manage your own or be too compassionate with yourself, then it means that you're going to be more compassionate in your relationships with people and the way you communicate with anybody, right? Whether it be your personal life or your professional life, your business. So I'm going to spotlight the lovely Monni and I'm going to give her the floor. Are you feeling a bit nervous, Monni?
Yes, can you tell?
Yeah, you are looking a bit nervous, honey, but you know what? You've got nothing to be nervous about. You just be you, because we all love you and we all think you're amazing.
Thanks, hon. I'm going to go to gallery view.
Yeah, no, the only thing is you're a little bit quiet. So is your volume up?
Is that better?
Slightly, not much. Is your volume right up?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, well, maybe just talk right into your microphone.
Okay. How's that?
Can everyone hear? Yeah, can everyone hear Monni okay?
Yes,
Great.
she sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you. So everyone needs a pen and paper to get started with. Yay. So what we're going to look at is nonviolent communication, sometimes otherwise called compassionate communication. And if anyone wants to ask a question, just put your hand up like that, and then I'll know that you want to ask something. So it was developed by a guy called Marshall Rosenberg, who was a psychologist in the States. And he had worked under Carl Rogers, who was one of the humanist psychologists, quite famous in the psychotherapy world. And he developed a system about meeting everyone's needs. And it was called nonviolent communication. It has 4 steps. First step is observation. Second step is feelings. Third one is wants or needs. And then the last one is, I know this stuff.
Request.
Thank you, sorry, just need to pop me. So the first one, observation, is taking a single situation and making an observation that is coloured without judgment, feelings, expectations. So I'll give you an example when we go through all of them. Then the next one is feelings, and it's identifying the feelings that you have within yourself. And that can be a little bit difficult because some people feel that or feel like, and that's not a valid way to look at it. Then we have another step which is called needs, and then the last step, so I'm getting muddled now, I just have to take a moment. Okay, so let's start with observation. So you take a situation and you describe it in 40 words or less, as if you're watching through a video camera. So you describe the situation, what you can see people saying and doing, but you don't colour it with your judgment or your blaming or your ideas about what's right. You just take it as a very neutral position. And from there, you think about what your feelings might be. And there's a really important thing about feelings, identifying them. You quite often hear the phrase, I feel like I'm upset, or I feel that wasn't going my way. And people use the word feel. If you want to identify a feeling, you need to say, I feel angry, I feel sad, I feel happy, or I am happy, I am sad. because when you put the that or like in, it's turning into a need or a want. I hope that makes sense.
Teenage girls say like a lot.
Yeah, they do. Like, yeah, you know.
My daughter, every second word is like.
Yeah. So the one after that is need. And needs are things that are basic human requirements. We need love, we need shelter, we need protection, we need to be recognized for ourselves, we need peace, we need joy, we need to be seen for our striving. So while I'm thinking this, there's a booklet that I put up on the Soul Tribe page today called, and the file is called Compassionate Communication, and it's a print-out booklet which has these basic steps. It's by a guy called Fred Cunningham, and he worked closely with Marshall Rosenberg, and it has been adapted to Steiner principles because he was a Steiner person for many years. But the booklet has lots of stuff about how you can use this process. And then the last thing is a request, and a request is something that's very different from a demand. We might ask our children to help with the dishes, but we expect them to say yes. Whereas a request is you can ask the question, which I'll take you through in a few moments, and you have to be prepared for a yes or no answer. So like with my son Oliver, I would say, no, I'm not making a request, I'm actually making a command at this time that you need to go and do this now. And other times I would say, are you willing to go and do this for me? Because I need this. So I'm going to take an example, which is just one of someone who has their bedroom next door to the neighbour's driveway. And she says, that bloody neighbour, he gets up every morning and puts his car on outside my window for 15 minutes while he heats up his engine. And I don't want to wake up at 7:30 in the morning. I want to wake up at 9 o'clock. And he's doing it deliberately, and I think he should know better. And I feel like he's doing it to annoy me. Okay, so that's quite full of emotion. It's quite full of judgment, evaluation, expectation. So what you want to do to reframe it, if I'm looking through a video camera and I'm not hearing the words or seeing my thoughts go into colouring the picture, then you will have, I like to wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning. My neighbour turns his car on at 7:30 in the morning, 7:15, and runs for 15 minutes. That's it.
So that's the observation.
That's the observation, 40 words or less. So it can be quite overwhelming when you're in a situation, like I was thinking when I was talking with Tanya and Maxine, because situations can become chronic and you get into your patterns, then it's important to just take one small incident that bugs you the most or might be the easiest to start with, depending on which way you look at it. If you like to go in for the big guns and do that straight away, or if you just want to practice it. The other thing I'll say here as well is that when you first start using this process, it can be really clunky, but it's like learning a new language. With the new language, you're going to be clunky. With who'd gone to an NVC course, and we used to chat away about stuff. And she started doing this. I'd talk to her and she'd go, and then come out with her response. And I was kind of going, what's happening here? This is really odd. And she said, I'm practicing my NVC. So she was taking it into her head and translating it and coming out with an NVC response. And it's quite fascinating to watch. And also her interactions changed quite a bit. And it wasn't the usual rah, 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 rah. It was actually quite thoughtful and quite considered. So the next thing is feelings. So the person who's got the problem with the neighbour feels angry and upset. But she might say, I feel like hitting that guy. I feel like he's being mean, and putting out stuff on them. That's one of the other things about this process is you always use I statements. You never use you statements because it's about looking after yourself. not looking after yourself, but looking after the way that you talk about things, because it's your problem, your responsibility, and your difficulty that you need to get through. You can do NVC on people or with people. So like you could be having a conversation with someone and have the process going on in your mind and be engaging them, but they don't necessarily have to know about that. They don't necessarily have to know that you're doing NVC, or they don't have to know that you've got this process going on, and you don't have to invite them to participate, and you don't have to educate them about it. They might come to that later by themselves. So in the booklet, there's a list of feelings and a list of needs, and there's a big difference between feelings and needs. Feelings are where we experience emotion in ourselves, and needs are things that we need, that we quite often say that they're a feeling. So
they're more out of a environmental thing, aren't they? Needs? Is that how you describe them, Monni? Like that you get from the outside world?
yeah, I guess they're external things, but they're also internal things. Like we need safety, we need love. So this person has identified that they feel angry and upset and tired. So feeling tired is not necessarily a feeling, it's more of a need, that they need more sleep. So going on to the next thing about needs, you can have needs for feelings. You can have bad feelings as well. You can have sorrow, pity, joy, happiness. Then you go into needs, and needs are things that make us into humans, because we have needs for connection, need for community, need for, I'm just going to grab my list.
Significance.
Yeah. Need to have be seen
respect.
for what you're doing, for your striving. Needs mode is thinking about what your current need in any given situation is. Currently, it could be, what we're talking about here is I need to have my body behave a little bit more nicely, but I'm aware that I'm feeling anxious, so I have to make a request to myself, take some deep breaths and do some relaxation. Would I be willing to do that? And I'm thinking, well, no, I don't have time, I'll just go with it.
Well, you are, though. You are taking your time, Monni.
Yes, well, that's good. I'm not talking so fast.
No.
So if the person's constructing an NVC statement in their head, or as I call it, compassionate communication, then the guy turns his car on at 7:15 in the morning, goes to 7:30, and then he drives away, and I want to wake up at 9 o'clock. My feeling is hurt, or not, angry and tired. My need is for more sleep and to be seen for who I am. So then it comes to request. Now the request is really interesting because you phrase it this way: are you willing to because I feel blah blah blah, because I need da da da. So I was wondering if you're willing to park your car on the road before you started running for 15 minutes in the morning, because I feel tired and angry and I need to get sleep till 9 o'clock because I go to bed later than you. Really simple, really non-emotional, non-judgmental. And they can say yes or no. And this is a really important thing about a request. They have the choice to say no. You can't guilt trip them into saying yes. You can only they can only say yes or no. And if they say no, then you can work further with them. But that's the next level of skill. This is like introductory level. But requests are difficult to ask for without blame, judgment, or anger. So it's like you have to take yourself out of the power position in the relationship, and that what your life is more important than others. NVC was developed to allow people to ask for balance and harmony in relationship. It's a bit like Aikido, which I do, which is where you blend with the other person. their needs and wants are as important as yours, but sometimes it's difficult to find ways of meeting that. And Marshall Rosenberg had a thing that he used to say, which was, we haven't figured out a way to meet everyone's needs yet. It's always that yet bit on the end, that it's possible to meet everyone's needs, but it's often a lot of communication that's needed to get there. So what Tanya thought was a good idea, and I think so too, is for you guys to think of one situation in your life. It can be just a small thing, it doesn't have to be a large thing, and just write down an observation about it. And you can ask me for help if you like. You can go around and so let me know when you've got one situation. And the other thing is, it's really useful for dealing with people who are really angry and upset, but we'll go into that after we've done this situation.
Yeah, because then I'll share my experience with my daughter, who is that same place as well, later, if you want, Monni.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. So if anyone wants any help or anything from Monni, just come off mute and just ask her directly. So
has everyone got their situation of 40 words or less? Then we go into the feelings. And what feelings might you have about that? And sometimes feelings are actually needs. So that's important to remember. Let me know when you're all done that. How's everyone going?
do you all look like you're writing away? No one's having any issues? God, you should have heard me the first time I learned how to do this. It took me ages, didn't it, Monni?
Yeah, you did quite quickly, I think. You picked up the head of it, the essence of it.
Yeah.
Instead of you doing it the next day.
Yeah.
So a connection can be made between the feeling and the need. So quite often if you have a group of feelings, it's important to identify what are the top 3 or 4. Sometimes people have 6 or 7 or 8, and sometimes people only have 1 or 2. And it's important to connect that to a need. So I'm feeling tired because I need lots of sleep, or I need to sleep for 8 hours or more. I'm feeling angry because I need to be recognized for who I am. I'm feeling joyful because I need or I needed this adventure that we had today. Tanya, maybe you could think about, I don't want to interrupt your work, so I'll leave it.
Okay.
Can someone tell me when they're finished?
Come off mute if you're finished. And just let her know.
I don't know if I got the first bit right, but I
What's
gave
that,
it a go.
Karen?
I don't know if I got the first bit right, but
So where are you
I
at?
definitely got the feelings and the needs.
And have you managed to link them together?
Oh yeah, I was angry because I needed significance and to be recognized for who I am.
Yay!
It's great, Karen. Yay for you.
Okay.
It's awesome. Everyone else is busy writing still, Monni.
I know, what are they writing, novels?
I'm really impressed.
Yeah. That's great. Anyone else done? It took me ages to. Sorry, Monni.
When you're done, come off mute. It didn't take you that long.
Yeah. It took me a while to figure out my needs. Got the feelings on pat. So that's the easy bit. And then it was the request that took ages.
Janet, you're finished.
Yes, I'm done. Yeah, thanks.
Great.
Have you finished, Tammy?
You're
I
muted.
think that was a
Tammy.
yep.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm snuggling my dog now. Come for a cuddle, he's cold.
So it's just Sarah and Priska. Are you done, Priska?
Hey,
I've
Priska.
just got, I think, the feeling. I haven't written the needs yet.
Yeah, I found that the tricky bit.
Um,
Do you need help with that?
I feel stressed because I didn't finish the work I was supposed to do.
Right. So, did you need more time or did you need space? Because you needed space?
All right.
I'm just wondering. I can't see you. There's this thing that they call the bobbing head, which is when you try and guess what's going on for someone else, you feel angry because da da da. And when it resonates with someone, you'll see their body language. They go, yeah. They might not say that, but you can see the body just goes.
Can you see her now, Monni?
I can see you now. So
Yep.
you're feeling stressed because you needed more time.
Yes.
Because you needed space.
Yeah.
You needed recognition.
Like I need more time.
Okay. So that's cool. So that's very simple one. I saw you nodding for the first two, then when I guess the third one, you went, oh no. So it's like, no, that's not one that's going to work. We'll stick with the space and time. So
Awesome.
how are you doing, Priska?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Here's Hazel.
Yeah. Hey, Hazel. So is everyone done? We're still waiting for Sarah. Are you having trouble, honey?
Well, at first I couldn't hear very much because my speaker was going all funny and I was having to shove my headphone right into my ear because my left ear is shit. But the lovely Kieran has just told me exactly what I need to be doing, so I'm working on it now.
Okay. Well, do you want to do the request then, Monni?
So the request is then is you take what you would like from the outcome. So that can be hard to figure out sometimes. If it's yourself, like you can do this process on yourself. You can make requests of yourself to deal with the situation. So you can go, this and this happened and I feel angry because I needed support. Would I be willing to find a way to speak to that person about this? So that then you go, it takes you on to the next thing of thinking about how that's going to be. And we used to do practice sessions where people would set up their situation and they would talk about their feelings going into that and how they wanted, what they actually wanted in the outcome, and not necessarily having it end up how you always usually happens. So it's actually like a change of pattern of behavior. So request is, would you be willing, I said this bit already, space, to da da da, because I feel da 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 when you, and because I need. So that comes out to about a paragraph. And the really cool thing about it is sometimes you don't actually need to let the other person know what's going on. Like you don't need to say it to them. You can just do an internal process, and that works really well. Like I said in the beginning, it felt really clunky and awkward and like people would look at you sideways. But now I can do it in the process, and I can feel the energy when I go into a situation, and I'll think, do I need to be empathetic here, or do I need to just allow them to be as they are? So, because you can engage with someone and say, gee, you're looking hot and flustered. Are you feeling overwhelmed by what's happening? Do you need support? Are you willing to let me help you by taking you inside to a chair or something like that? That's just really basic stuff.
That's empathetic communication too, isn't it, Monni?
Yeah. And that's interesting. The word
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that's just really beautiful. Like, I mean, it's so much today in today's society, we can see someone struggling and we just think, oh my God, it's not my business, and walk on, you know. And even close, you know, personal things and all that, we often see someone's just struggling. We're like, okay, all right, we'll just give them some space. It's so nice to actually ask. That's so, compassionate. Thank you.
It is.
Yeah. The word empathy didn't arrive in the English language until about the 1950s. We had no word for empathy. And now the really important thing is to learn to be empathetic towards yourself first, because if you don't know how to be empathetic towards yourself, then it's not much use trying it on other people. So has everyone done that now? Janet, how did you go?
Yeah, just a situation where I am at the moment, because I'm living with my sister, so I'm finding it hard to try and just get some space to get on with my business and get things going. So I'm trying to I was looking at it sort of observational wise, just looking at it needing space to get on with the business and needing silence and you know, technology around that kind of thing. So is that what you're saying in terms of observing, like things
I can't quite hear you. Can you turn your volume up a little bit?
I think it's up full, yeah. I've got the volume up full. Can you hear now? Is that better?
Yep, that's
I
better.
come close?
Yep.
Yep. I was just saying, in terms of like observation, is it just like identifying the things around me, sort of what I need, like what's going on around me? Is that what you're saying? Sort of looking at like the space I'm in and the people around me, that kind of, and what they're doing. Is that when you're saying
Do you feel
observing? Is that
comfortable sharing it out loud, what you've written?
I've only written a few like bullet points.
Yep. Do you want to read them out and we'll go see what happens?
Well, I think it's just space. I put silence, where areas of silence, and just the busyness. You know, I'm looking around. There's busyness. There's children playing. There's you know, there's different activities going on in different areas of the home.
So what I'm hearing you say is that your observation is that you want to do some work. The children are noisy. There's not enough space.
Yeah.
And you're feeling. So then, what are you feeling about that?
Well, I feel guilty, I guess, because I feel like that I really should be maybe more involved. It's like trying to find the balance. Frustrated as well because I want to get on, but I also don't want to, you know.
Okay, so I'm going to use you as an example, Janet. I'm just going to get you to par back your language a little bit without
Okay.
the judgments and evaluation stuff in there. So
Right.
your situation, from what I'm hearing, is that your observation is that you want to do work. There's a lot of noise. There's noise that's beyond what you are comfortable with. Is more
Yes.
NVC way of saying it.
Yeah.
You live in your sister's house.
Yep.
Okay, so that's the situation. So that's just 3 elements.
Right.
So then you have your feelings. So your feelings are what?
I guess I'm anxious quite a bit, yeah, because it's
So you're anxious?
I feel anxious, frustrated,
Frustrated?
like I said, guilty as well, because it's almost like
Right,
feel
we don't need
guilty.
sorry, I'm just
Go-
being rude and interrupting you because one of the really big things is not to have the story that goes along with it, because what you're trying to do is cut out the story and just have the
Okay.
feelings.
Right.
So you're feeling guilty, frustrated,
Yeah, overwhelmed.
overwhelmed. Okay. So if you took those 3 feelings and you identified needs attached to each of them, how would that look?
I need space,
Yep.
peace, harmony, balance. I've put down
Yep.
structure.
What was the last one?
Structure. You know, like so, like I know, like I've got some, like a routine.
So you've got
Mhm.
need for order and structure, need for
Yeah.
space, need for quiet, need for harmony, need for peace.
Yeah.
So can you construct a request for your sister?
Well, I've put down I need to work during the week on my business, and I can help out and then give certain days. Would that work for you?
Okay, so I'm going to change it a little bit for you. When
Okay.
I want to go to work and the kids are making more noise than I'm comfortable with, and there's no space for me because everything's out of the cupboards or whatever it is, I feel, what are your 3 feelings?
Well, frustrated, overwhelmed,
And there was another one in there,
Anxious.
anxious.
anxious. Yes.
Because I need, so because you need what?
Yeah, because I need peace, harmony, balance, productivity, structure, routine.
Would you be willing to, and what do you want your sister to do? Have a conversation with you about planning it?
Yes. Would you be willing to work out, you know, a routine with me, a weekly routine?
Yep, that's it. That's the whole sentence.
Okay.
So you put, when this is happening, I feel this because I need this. Are you willing to work with me on this one? It has to be really specific, something actionable.
Right.
So can we have a cup of tea and talk about how we can work out a routine?
Okay, yeah,
Thank you.
that sounds
So
great.
if you put that all together, how does that feel in your body?
Yeah, it feels good. Yeah, feels like a way forward.
Great.
Thank you.
Yay. Thanks for sharing, Janet.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Bit scary with all this bunch of strangers on the other side of the world.
We're not strangers, are we, Janet? We're friends.
With friends.
Yes,
Yes,
that's cool.
I'm pretty open, me, you know, quite with people I feel safe with, I guess. So yeah, and I feel safe with all you guys. So thanks for listening to all my stuff. I hope it was helpful, Tammy, for you as well, because I saw that you've got a lot going on for you too.
Yeah, it's good that you brought that up, because my notes had things like buyers at work being unengaged and people won't put the scraps out at home and things like that. But actually, you nailed it with your one, because that's something I've really actually found quite stressful. Is like, especially over the lockdown, was I was working from home for all of my businesses, and as soon as I left my room, people thought I was just there for them, and they just didn't really care if I was sitting at my computer working or not. They just butt in, they just do all their things, and that's okay. That's life. And so I figured that, well, I just need to go in my room all the time to work. So I'm in my room, but people will knock on the door and like, oh, are you? And they think that I'm sitting in bed on Facebook.
Oh my God.
Have you formulated yours then, Tammy?
From listening to this, yes, I have, but it's hard because I have to kind of approach the whole house. There's 6 people have to talk about it. But now that I'm actually back on the road at work, that is now my free time. Now that I'm away from the house, I actually just couldn't wait to get out of the house again and go back to the day job so that I could have my stolen moments.
Family meeting, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Hang on, Monni's talking.
Have you framed up a sentence?
Sorry, Monni?
Have you framed up a sentence?
I have, based on what you guys have just been talking about. Yes, I have. Which would be, I'm feeling. Would you?
You can start with the I'm feeling.
I guess it's would you guys? Oh, okay. So we start with the I'm feeling. So I'm just so I'm feeling. What would be the right one? I guess, yeah, a little stressed. And I challenged for time, challenged for space, mental space.
Challenged for time. So you're feeling stressed and challenged.
Yeah.
Because you need
space and time alone.
Okay.
Well, not alone, but just undisturbed. Not alone. I can be out there in the lounge or whatever, but just left alone to work. Yeah.
You need your space respected.
Respect. Yeah, I was going to say respect.
Respect.
Because sometimes the questions and the requests are really stupid.
So
it's like, did you seriously butt into that?
That? Because that's something else, is that we do all the judgment and evaluation on ourselves in our head. We also judge and evaluate what other people are asking us. So it's important to actually keep those out of your head and out of your observation of other people as well. You want to be, it seems really clunky at the beginning, but if you just do that 4 stages and really make it as fast as you can with language and make it I statements, then it's going to work much easier for you. Yeah. I felt myself just getting really irritated, with the lockdown, just with that one specific thing. I was good with everything else, but it was just every time I tried to stop and work. Yeah. So really hard. So what's your request?
My request is that they come to me if it's important.
Would you be willing?
Would you? I guess, yeah. So I'm feeling like I need them. I'm feeling stressed, and I'm feeling, I'm not getting the space.
So how do you?
And so
I'm going to ask you.
So I'm sorry.
I'm going to ask you to reframe that.
Okay.
So
I'm writing it down.
I'm feeling stressed because I need.
I'm very stressed because I need the space and undisturbed to work.
Yep. Would you
I'm
be
wondering if would you be willing to give me the space to work unless it's really important?
So how much time do you need? Because you want it really specific.
Yeah, because whatever is important to you may not be maybe
Important to
completely
them.
different to
while,
them.
maybe it's while my computer's open.
Great.
See that from
There you go,
outside your
that's
bedroom
good.
door? Can they see that from outside your bedroom door?
Yeah, and if I'm in my bedroom, only if it's important.
Well, what's important to them might not be important
Yeah.
to you.
Only if someone's dying.
Dying.
Yeah.
Or you can give it a time
yeah.
thing. You could say, I need the next half an hour. Would you be willing to let me go and do this undisturbed? And they might say no, because I need you for this. And that's when you get into the dialogue that starts to create how you listen to each other and how you think and you guess their needs and you guess their feelings. Okay, so that's
I find myself a lot just on call.
and you'd like that
So
to
it's
be
really
different?
important. Yeah.
Would you like that to be different?
And certain spaces in time, yeah. When I've got my computer open, I'm trying to concentrate. And like last week, I had to write a couple of reports for my work, and it just, you know, every time you get distracted, it just takes you out of your flow. So yeah, it was getting a bit
So when you
tricky.
when you tend to get distracted, you get out of your flow. Because you were saying you, so you should be saying I get distracted when I get out of my flow.
Yeah.
So really claim
Yeah.
it.
It's me. I'm getting distracted. Yeah. I need their support.
Request their support.
And pay. Yeah, I request some support for people to be patient while I'm working, and maybe and if they can say what they need to talk to me about until I appear and say I'm free now. About that.
Would you be willing to wait with all your questions and needs until I appear and say I'm free?
Great.
Okay.
Perfect. Monni.
Yes.
How are we going for time, Tanya?
Okay.
Well, we've got about 7 minutes.
So do you want to go through the stuff we did with you and Maxine? Stuff
Yeah.
that you formulated for your daughter and you?
Yes. I have it written down somewhere, but I wasn't going to read it. But essentially, I'll see if I can find it quickly. Because
Monni, was it I'm feeling and would you be willing and I need? Is that right?
So it starts off with the observation, when this, and this is like this, I feel such and such because I need such and such. Would you be willing to specific activity? Something that's not
Okay.
open to judgment, evaluation, expectation, right and wrong. That's one of the big things, is that people think, well, that's the wrong way to be thinking. And this is the right way to be thinking. So blaming, judgment, evaluation, expectation are the things that you want to get rid of. And the little booklet that I put on Soul Tribe page, it has all of this in much more flowy, flowery language. So,
Okay.
Printing it off
okay.
tomorrow.
it's really good. It's really good. I've got mine downloaded too. So what happened for me was my daughter and I tend to clash when we discuss things, and I wanted to be able to listen to her and respond to her in a more compassionate way, but I also wanted to have my needs met. So essentially what I did was I went through this with Monni, and this is what I said to my daughter. I said, and this is completely different to the way that I've ever spoken to my daughter, so this was really weird for me to say, and I was expecting her to respond in a completely different way. So I said to her, when you talked about how I didn't call you back for 4 days, I felt hurt, resentful, and confused. because I need to be valued, respected, and have understanding. Will you be willing to accept that I am not perfect, but I do love and care for you, even if I'm not able to answer every call immediately?
Mm.
And what she said to me was, she said,
Wow.
yeah, Mum, that's okay. And she was really accepting. And then she started talking about how, you know, that I'm really a good mum, and then started opening up about all this other stuff and talking about her feelings around me not being available. And it was great because I listened to her and she spoke, and then I spoke and she listened to me. So it really opened up a beautiful, compassionate dialogue, which we've never had before. So just coming from that space, and when you say it, I said it in such a way that obviously my voice was quieter, and it was different to the way I would normally speak. And so she really listened to me. So yeah, it's certainly going to change the way that you do things. And now I find that I use it when I have thoughts come up in my head about a situation. And like Monni talked about, when we judge, we often will judge a situation or analyze that situation and what we think is going on for that other person. But what I do, I stop myself and I say, hang on a moment, what are my feelings here? What am I needing here? And so what can I request from myself? And it's really, really been helpful to step outside of me and look at what I need, but also what they may be needing, so I can see them as a whole person, just having feelings and needs the same as me.
And would you say, Tanya, it's taken you out of your story about your relationship with your daughter?
Yes, it has.
Because that's the thing, people have stories about what's going on, and there's a really good quote that's like, don't assume, just ask. It's like, we imagine that people have these stories and we see them around them and we won't do things. It's like that thing you talk about you offer it to everyone because you don't know who's going to connect with it. It's a Juice Plus thing. And I think that's true. We have stories about why people are doing things, but we don't actually know until we ask them.
Yes. And I mean, I took a long time to write this down. I took a long time to formulate it, to get what request out that I wanted. And it was weird. When I said it, it was very strange because it was different from what I'm used to. But now, if I know I'm going to have a call with my daughter, I will make sure I've formulated something first, or that I'm ready to stay in that compassionate place so that I listen to her, I actually hear her. So it's definitely changed the way I see her as a person too.
Has it?
Yeah, well, because all I could see at the time was selfishness and her, the negative side of her. Whereas now I can see that she's actually really loving, really generous, actually really mature. And I hadn't seen that before. So, I mean, I know that she's that person anyway, but all I was seeing was the masked negative behavior.
The stuff that she could show to her mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool, Tanya. So
Thanks.
cool.
Well, thank you, Monni. Thanks to you. So yeah, this definitely works, ladies. If you want to start giving this a go, it's really going to help you change the way you see yourself and the way you see other people and the way you respond.
The other thing I'd say is if you want to use it, but you want some sort of support with it, I'm available to chat with you about it anytime. It's one of my passions, NVC. I think it's a really good way of being in the world.
And if you want to, if you think it's helpful, then maybe we could have another session on a huddle sometime, Monni, do you think?
Yeah. Yep. People have questions and want to workshop it a bit.
Yes.
Sorry. I think it would be good because sometimes when you're dealing with people as well, I've come against it a lot. People who lie, then how do you deal with ones, you're trying to ask, like you ask them because you're assuming something, but you ask them and then they're not being honest. That's the only where I find it difficult, when you get people who won't actually tell you what they're feeling.
You might get, that's the next level. That's when you start guessing what's going on for the other person and formulating questions for them.
Mm.
So that's next one up.
Okay.
What amazes me is I've read stories about Marshall Rosenberg. That's what I was going to say. There's resources on the internet about Marshall Rosenberg. There's books, and I've got some audio files as well of him talking, if anyone wants those. And he's actually worked in Palestinian war refugee camps, and worked with people who's, the famous story that I saw was this Palestinian was like, oh, you're just a fucking American, you're just here to do. And he talked to him for half an hour, 20 minutes, and he was invited home to dinner with that family that night.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Just really amazing stuff that he's done.
Yeah.
He passed away in 2015, but he's left this great legacy.
Mm. That's great. Thank you so much for tonight, Monni. It's been just invaluable.
Thanks. I did my first live.
Thanks, Monni.
You did your first live. You did your first, you ran your first huddle.
Oh, no, not really.
You're amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah. That was great, Monni.
I hope
Thank
everyone else got lots
Thanks,
out of it.
Monni. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's right.
Nice to see you, Hazel, even if you jumped on late, honey.
Right, ladies.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Watch you later.
Bye.
Night.
Bye.